Good morning, students. Today we are going to see Standard 8th, Chapter number 6, Land Use. Try this. Draw a sketch of your house. On the sketch, show the following with proper direction: kitchen, bathroom, courtyard, living room, bedroom, etc. After the sketch is ready, have a discussion on the following points. A. Why do we need to fix a place for everything in the house? Your answer will be, we need to fix a place for everything in the house so as to avoid confusion. B. What would happen if there were no fixed places? Your answer will be, if there were no fixed places, then the house would appear disorganized and there would be difficulties moving around the house. Now let's check whether our answers are correct. You may have realized that there is a fixed place for everything. If this is not done, the house appears disorganized. There will be difficulties while moving around the house. Even if these arrangements are changed, there will be confusion for a few days. The land available in your house is used for different purposes. So, as our house should be organized. If it is disorganized, it will create different difficulties to move around our house. So, the arrangements are changed, then the confusion will be for few days. After that, when we will learn that, when we will come to know that which place is for what, where is washroom, where is bathroom, where is kitchen, where is living room, we will be able to move according to it. Try this. This activity has to be performed by all the students together, but as we are at home, you can perform separately. Prepare boards with this name. Let the students stand in a circle holding these boards. Now, prepare chits with the following names and put them in a box: shop, garden, bank, utensil factory, school, bungalow, residential building, mall, hockey field, cinema house, hospital, bus stop, port, airport, swimming pool, badminton court, reserve forest. Each student will pick up one sheet and, as per the land use category, will stand close. To the person holding the respective board. Once the activity is completed, have a discussion based on the following points. The boards are commercial, residential, open ground, entertainment, industry, transport, agriculture, institute, mixed land use. So, according to this given boards, the given points should be divided. So the second point: shop, garden, bank, utensil factory, school, bungalow, residential building, mall, hockey field, cinema house, hospital, bus stop, port, airport, swimming pool, badminton court, reserve forest. This all content you have to divide according to this board. As for example, shop will come under mixed land use, garden it will come under entertainment, bank commercial. Like this you have to divide the remaining one. Divide it and write it in your classwork. Why did you select the particular board? Can you give the answer? Yes, because that category wasn't that board. So you had chosen that category. Explain how you will use this chosen land. So according to the land use, we will make use of that. The place which is selected for shop should be used for shop only. The place which is used for commercial basis should be used for commercial basis. Correlate our needs with the land use, as we need land for our residential purpose, for our commercial basis, for our entertainment, for different mixed shops or mixed land use. So land use can be different. Let's see land use. Land use is the way or purpose for which land in a region is used. The interaction between geographical factors and man have resulted in land use. Land use undergoes changes with time. As man's need have increased, the use of land for different purposes has also increased. Mineral rich land is used for mining. Fertile plains are used for agriculture. So we the human beings, we make use of land for different purposes. According to our need, we make use of our land. For example, they had given mineral rich land is used for mining and the fertile plains are used for agriculture. Types of land use. First one, rural land use. In rural areas, agriculture is the main occupation. Agro-based activities are also common in rural areas. This influences the location for the rural settlements. Hence, these settlements are located close to the agricultural fields and forest areas. The settlements of miners are close to the mining areas, while fishermen's settlements are near the seashore. In rural areas, the availability of land is more and the population is less. Hence, population is sparse. In rural areas, the extent of residential areas is less. Land use in the rural areas can be classified in the following manner. As rural land use, maximally we will see that the main occupation in rural areas, it is agriculture, because it is agro-based activities are carried out in the rural areas, which takes place for the rural settlements. Wherever the rural settlements are there, beside that you can see the fields or farms of the farmers. Where the mines are there, close to that you will find out the mining areas, and where the fishermen's settlements are there, beside that you will see the seashore. Means according to the need, according to the availability of material from the nature, the rural settlements are settled. The farmers will settle in rural areas. The fishermen will settle near the seashore. The miners will settle near the mining areas. It means according to the need, they have to change their place or they have to settle at that place. Now let's see the classification of rural areas. First one is given urban land. This is the land under cultivation. Normally, this land is under individual ownership. This land can be classified as per the ownership of the land and types of agriculture. Yes, under this urban land, we can see it is the land which is under cultivation. This land is not under individual's ownership. We are the individual person of owner of that particularly land. And this land, as per the ownership of the land, the types of agriculture is different. If I am having agriculture, so I will be the owner. I will be the individual owner of that land. Fallow land. This is agricultural land which is temporarily not in use. In order to improve the fertility of the soil, the farmer does not use a part of his agricultural land for 1 or 2 seasons. So, fallow land is the land, as in agriculture, you can see that the farmers, they are not using the total area of their land. They are making use of one of the part of the agriculture to, to do their production, and one land they are living as it is. That land is known as fallow land. That land is kept for fertility. So it will not create any soil erosion. Next one, forest land. A demarcated forest area is also a type of rural land use. From this area, forest products like firewood, gum, and grass are obtained. Forest comprise of large trees, bushes, creepers, and grass. So, forest land, it is the land, one of the type of rural land use, and it is the area of forest products like firewood, gum, and grass. These things we can obtain from the forest land. Forest comprise a large trees, bushes, creepers, and grass. So overall it will be known as forest land. Grassland, pasture land. This land is under the ownership of the village panchayat or the government and is used for grazing purpose. This land belongs to the entire village. Very little grassland is under individual ownership. So grasslands or pasture land, this is the land which is under the ownership of village panchayat or government. So it is kept for the grazing purpose. So depending on it, that land is totally belongs to entire village, or very little grassland is under a individual ownership. Urban land use. There has been an increase in urban settlements in the 20th century. In urban areas, land is used for different purposes. It is necessary to make maximum use of the land. In urban areas, with reference to population, the land is limited. Therefore, the distribution of population is dense. Urban land use can be classified in the following manner. So, urban land use, according to our increasing demand and the urban population is increasing, the urban settlements in the 20th century had been increased, due to which the urban area land use for different purposes, the demand is increased. So, it is necessary to make maximum use of the land for urban settlements. So, in urban areas, the population level is reference to population, the land is limited. Here in urban areas, the population level is high and the land, it is limited. So, the distribution of population is dense here. And the urban land use can be classified in the following manner, which is given: commercial land use. Some parts of cities are only used for commercial purposes. In these areas, there are many shops, banks, and offices. This has given rise to the concept of the Central Business District, CBD. For example, in Mumbai, the port area or the BKC, Bandra Kurla Complex. So as before starting the lesson, I told you to distribute that activity which was given on page number 35. Try this. Under that we had seen the commercial. I told you that bank will come under the commercial basis. Shops will come under the commercial basis. So shops, banks, offices, this all other content will come under the commercial basis. It will be the concept, or it will be the type under the Central Business District. Means that area is fixed for Central Business District. That is only commercial land use. Residential land use. Here, the main land use is for residential purposes. In this area, houses and residential buildings are included. Since population is more in the urban areas, residential land use has increased. Now, residential land use, where we stay, where we build our house, that area is known as residential land use. And according to the need and comparing to the urban areas, population is higher, so the land use here is in high quality, in high level, but the land is available in urban areas is limited. Transport land use. In urban areas, transportation facilities are important for the movement of goods and people. For this purpose, different types of transportation facilities are found in cities like public bus stops, railway lines, metro, monorail, commercial vehicles, etc. In addition to this, the number of private vehicles is also large. Hence, in cities, roads, railway line, station, petrol pumps, transport, depots, and vehicle repair centers occupy large areas. These are included in the transport land use. I think you had understood. The land which is used for transportation for people or for good. Examples already they had given. That all will come under the transportation land use. Next, public utility area. For the various needs of the population, some services are provided by the local governing bodies, state government or central government. The area under these services come under this category. Example, hospitals, post office, police station, police grounds, schools, colleges, universities, etc. The land use under the category is important. These services diffuse the tensions caused due to burgeoning population. So, as according to the need, the public utility area is developed. As the need increases, the public utility area is expanded. So, public utility area which is common to all, that will come under the public utility area. Take a map of your surrounding area and using different colors, show the land use of your area. So, the students are expected to use red for residential, blue for commercial, yellow for agriculture and green for forest areas to show the land use of their area. Okay? So, you have to prepare a map of your surrounding, and as I told you, you have to use that all colors to show the different places or different areas of your map. Recreational land use. In cities, some areas have to be specially reserved for the entertainment of the population. The use of such spaces is mainly for fields, gardens, swimming pools, theatres, etc. So, recreational land use are as following the examples they are given for fields, gardens, swimming pools, theatres. All this will come under the recreational land use. This recreational land use, it is specially reserved for the entertainment purpose of the population. Mixed land use. In some areas, we find all these uses together. Such areas are said to have mixed land use. Example, residential areas and entertainment areas. So, mixed land use, under this residential areas can be seen and also entertainment areas are also there. So, that type of lands are known as mixed land use. On maps, special colors are used to indicate such areas. Red for residential, blue for commercial, yellow for agriculture and green for forest areas. As I told you to use these all colors in your map. Transitional areas and suburbs. Rural settlements start outside the boundary areas of urban settlements, but the intermediate area in between is called the transitional area. In this area, there is a blend of rural and urban land use. In these areas, land use is of a mixed nature. In this zone, cultural activities are also of a mixed type. Over time, this area is converted to an urban area and this region become suburbs. Example, Bandra, Bhandup, etc. are suburbs of Mumbai city. So, transitional area and suburbs, under this they had given that the rural settlements, which starts outside the boundary of the areas of urban settlements, but the if the area is between, is called transitional area. In this, the blend of rural and urban land use is made. Under this, mixed nature is seen, and also the zone cultural activities are also mixed type. So as the time overs, the converted it gets converted into urban area as the development process takes place, and according to the need of population, the small rural areas, it gets mixed into the urban areas. For example, they had given here. Next, planned cities. After the Industrial Revolution, urbanization occurred on a large scale throughout the world. Since the urbanization was not well planned, cities began to grow in a haphazard manner. Because of unemployment opportunities, there a large scale migration to cities occurred. As a result, the availability of land is always a serious problem in cities. A lot of diversity is visible in the land use of cities. Limited land, varied land uses, and burgeoning cities resulted in the thought of having planned cities for the future. Even before a city grows, its land use is predetermined and a planned layout is prepared. Accordingly, the cities are developed. Singapore, Seoul, South Korea, Zurich, Switzerland, Washington, DC, that is in USA, Brasilia in Brazil, Chandigarh, Bhubaneswar, India, etc. all are all examples of planned cities. So, under these planned cities, a plan is prepared according to the need. As many of the people, due to unemployment, they get migrated towards the urban cities from rural areas, and they settled there, due to which the demand of land increases. And to complete their demand, a plan is fixed, and according to that, the city is prepared according to the plan of government. That type of plans will come under the planned cities. Now a pie chart they had given. Can you tell? Examine the pie chart showing land use in figure 6.1 and answer the following questions. Land use in Japan 2011. Land use in India 2011. Now let's see. The yellow color suitable for agriculture. Red color permanent agriculture. And green color is denoting forest. Blue color is denoting permanent pastures. And the orange color, it is showing us other. Let's discuss the questions depending on this pie chart. In which country is the land under forest more? Can you give the answer? The land under forest is more in Japan, because the green color is the forest. It is denoting the forest, and it is of 68.5. In which country is the land under agriculture more? Can you see the agriculture? It is denoting the land under agriculture is more in India. That is 52.8, the yellow color. Considering the two questions above, how will you relate the physiography and climate of India and Japan with their respective land uses? So, in India, if you will see, in India, major portion of the land, of the total available land use is for agriculture. This shows that India's physiography mainly comprises of plains with fertile soil and the Indian climate is suitable for agriculture. And in Japan, if you will see, the major part of the land is under forest land category, due to which this shows that Japan has more mountainous regions. The climate is suitable for preserving the forest areas. So, according to the natural or according to the climate, according to the particularly region, that type of agriculture production or use of land is done. Correlate their land use and development. If you will see the pie chart, you will come to understand that in Japan, the percentage of land under forest is more, while the percentage of land under permanent agriculture is less. Over 55% of arable land is irrigated. Japan follows old Japanese virtues like dedication to quality, massive productivity, etc. The majority of the Indians earn their livelihood from land. Nearly 52% of the total workforce is engaged in agriculture. Which land use is found in Japan? If you will see, the forest in Japan, forest land suitable for agriculture and permanent agriculture is found in Japan. Permanent agriculture, that is red color, 0.8, forest 68.5, and permanent agriculture, it is showing 0.8. Next, considering the land use in both the countries, make a list of factors affecting the land use. So, which are the factors which will affect the land use in India are types of soil, climate, population of India, irrigation facilities and type of slope. And the factors which will affect on Japan is climate, location, transportation facilities, industrialization, trade and commerce. These all are the factors which will affect on the Japan, or which are the factors affecting on the Japan. Next, let's see. You may have realized that in different countries the percentage under various land uses differ. As comparing to Japan and India, if you had seen that there is a difference between these two countries and in their land use. Based on the availability of land, the population of a country, its quality and needs land use types vary. In Japan, for example, the percentage of land under forest is more and the percentage of land under permanent agriculture is very low. As compared to that, in India, the percentage of land under forest is low while the percentage of land under permanent agriculture is high. So, the land and the use of land in India and Japan is different. Just while finding the answers of that questions, I had explained all the content. Ownership of land and ownership rights. Can you tell what kind of land use is shown in figure 6.2? 6.2, yes. On next page they had given. So what is this? Below it they had given. It is a 7/12 extract. A sample of 7/12 extract. A sample of Satbara. That is only known as 7/12 extract. Next, can you tell in which area the property is located? Yes, by taking the details on the page, you have to take out your textbook and you have to observe it. Um, on the given sample, the details of land they had given. In figure 6.2, property is located in Vadzeri village, Parner Taluka and Ahmednagar town. And in figure 6.3, the property is located in Bhandup at Mulund in Mumbai city. So all the details are given on the page number 38 and 39 on the samples of 7 by 12 extract and on property card. So now what is 7 by 12 extract? That is Satbara. 7 by 12, that is only means Satbara. Under land utilization, we have seen how land is put to different uses. The ownership of land could be private or public. Land registration in this context is done under the revenue department of the government. All the information about the registered land can be obtained from the revenue department in the 7 by 12 extract. Let us get some information about this. So 7 by 12 extract, where we will get it from the revenue department, that is from our government. It is the ownership of the land can be private or can be public. One can get to know under whose ownership the land is from the 7 by 12 extract. So what we will come to know from the 7 by 12 extract? Who is the owner of that land? So where to find? We will get that information from the 7 by 12 extract. Okay. The extract is a record kept by the Public Revenue Department. So who will keep the record of the 7 by 12 extract? The Revenue Department will keep the record of the public of 7 by 12 extract. Serial number 7 and 12 are distinctive sections of the law pertaining to the ownership of land. So 7 and 12, this is the section of law which is for the ownership of the land. So it is given the name as 7 by 12 extract or Satbara. Maybe you had heard this Satbara word from your parents. You can get your 7 by 12 extract from your parents and you can see the original copy of your own house. The 7 by 12 extract is a kind of mirror about the land. This is because just by reading the extract, sitting in one place, we can. This is a sample of Satbara which is given on page number 38 and it is property card which is given on page number 63. We get complete information about the piece of land without actually going there. So 7 by 12 extract will give us the detailed information of the owner and the property to which the land is belong to which owner or to whom. The register of the revenue department records the details of the ownership, rights of the family, status of debts and loans, transfer of ownership and the area under different crops. Village form number 7 and village form number 12 are combined to prepare as 7 by 12 extract. So, village form number 7, village form number 12, combining these two forms, the name they had given as 7 by 12 extract. So, who is the owner? Who is the ownership? Who are having the rights of the family? What is the status of its debts and loans? The transfer of ownership from whom to whom the property had came. And other details we can get by sitting at one place from the 7 by 12 extract. These village forms are available with the talati of every village for land and revenue collection purposes. So, from where we will get this 7 by 12 extract? We can get the 7 by 12 extract on these forms from the talati of our village. How is the 7 by 12 extract read? Occupant class 1 means the land over which ownership rights are available through generations. This is ancestral property. So, first content. So, here it will be given that this property from generation to generation it will be belong to that owner's family only and his ancestors only. Occupants class 2 means the land given by the government to marginal farmers or landless people. Such land can be sold, leased, pledged, given as charity or transferred only with the sanction of the district collector. Now, the second type it is occupant class 2. Here, the land is given to the farmers, to landless people, and also the land can be sold, leased, or pledged or given in the as a charity, and this all can be sanctioned by the district collector. So this is another type of two types of 7 by 12 extract, occupant class 1 and occupant class 2. Below that, under assessment, the amount of tax levied on the land is given in rupees or paise. In other rights, the names of other joint holders are included. This also shows the status of loans taken for agriculture and whether they have been repaid or not. So 7 by 12 extract can also gives us the names of the other joint holders who are in that property, and also will tell us the status of the loans, whether the farmer had paid or repaid or not the amount. Property card. Now what is property card? Ownership of non-agriculture land is recorded on the property card. Pay attention. Ownership of non-agricultural land is recorded on the property card. This document showing ownership right and the area of the property is made available from urban land records. It has the following information: city, survey number, plot number, amount of tax, area of the property assessed, right to assess, etc. So, ownership of non-agricultural land is the record on the property card. Property card, it will show us that the non-agricultural land is recorded on the property card, and the details on it we can get that city, survey number, plot number, amount of tax, area of property assessed, right to access. This all we will get on the property card. A sample of property card they had given on page number 39, figure 6.3 will give you the detail about the property card. What is property card and how it looks? You can observe from page number 39. We will move forward. Page number 40. Can you tell which are the land uses of 1990? Give the answers on the basis of figure 6.4. So below this, can you tell, they had given a bar graph. Depending on this bar graph, you can come to know that you have to understand it from the given colors. Blue color for forest, orange color for non-agriculture, grey color for pasture, yellow color for other non-agriculture, again dark blue color for fallow, and green color total agricultural land. So depending on this graph, you have to give the answers of this question. Which are the land uses of 1990 to 91 that show a decline in 2010 to 11? What could be the reason for this? If we will see the 1990 to 91 and 2010 to 11, the land uses of 1990 to 91 which show a decline in 2010 and 11. The reason are agriculture land, pasture land, and other non-agriculture land. Reason is that as the population is rising, the rural land use is getting converted to urban land use, due to which the land use in 1990 to 91 show a decline in 2010 and 11. Which type of land use is maximum? What would be the impact of this on India's environment? Agricultural land use is maximum. If you will see in the graph, it affects India's environment in the following ways. First one, we can see soil is getting degraded, that is, it is losing its fertility. Soil erosion due to farming activities like tillage, lack of space for other developmental land use, deforestation due to slash and burn method of farming. This can be the impact on India's environment. Can a decline in the area under agriculture be equated with the food shortage? Yes, decline in the agricultural area land use means reduced production of crops. This would lead to reduced supply of food crops in comparison to the already high population. Always remember factors affecting land use. In rural land use, climate, soil, type of slope, irrigation facilities, natural resources, government policies. These are the factors which affect land use in rural land use, and the factors which will affect on the land use in urban land use are location and site, natural resources, housing development policies, transportation routes, industrialization, trade and commerce, playgrounds and entertainment facilities, government policies. Give it a try. Again, a pie chart is given. Area under forest, dark color 16.9%, non-agriculture land 10.2%, grazable and cultivable fallow 7.9%, fallow land 8.3%, and area under crops, that is 56.8%. Maharashtra state land use 2010 and 11. Study the given figure and answer the following questions. What is the percentage of land suitable for cultivation? So if you will see the 64.7% area under crops, grazable and cultivable fallow of land is usable for cultivation. That is grazable cultivable fallow 7.9 and area under crops 56.8. So 56.8 plus 7.9, it will be 64.7% land. What is the percentage of barren land? 8.3% of land is barren land. 8.3%. That is orange color. What is the percentage? Oh, just a minute. What is the percentage of land under forest in Maharashtra? If you'll see 10.2% of 16.9% of land is under forest in Maharashtra. 16.9%. That is dark blue color. What is the percentage of non-agricultural land in Maharashtra? Yellow color 10.2% non-agricultural land. Next, give it a try. The place they had given 2003, 2010. You can see a little bit development between 2003 and 2010 map. It is one area only, but the development how it had been taken place, that we are going to see. In 2003 it was as like I am showing you. In 2010 it was a little bit change had been taken place. In 2017, in the figure showing the satellite images of Mondha village, Taluka Hingna, district Nagpur. Find out the change in land use pattern over time and write a note. So if you'll see the area as from 2003 to 2017, from the figure it can be said that in 2003 more land was used for agriculture activities and the rural settlement was less. So the population was sparse. By 2010, in this picture you can see The portion of the cultivable area was used for housing purposes, so it can be called as transitional area as there is a blend of rural land use and urban land use. If you will move to 2017, by 2017 major arable land has been converted to residential use. So in this way we had completed our chapter land use. Complete the given exercise and learn the given question and answers. That's all for today. Thank you.